Hello everyone, it's about that time we do another devlog. It's been around 2 months now since development. I did another devlog about a month ago, and so now we're going to get into some of the new updates I added. There's a handful, and there's a couple new features into the game. We're starting to build the game up here. So first up, let's just get into like what I implemented first. So we made this like really cool sort of sway effect for the trees. I'll probably put some footage of like me testing it, and yeah, we added like this little sway so everything sways in the wind. It looks pretty immersive, and surprisingly, we didn't actually have to code anything. Well, we had to use this this like mapping system in Unity, which is all built in, and this like is very strange. There's like nodes, like a big spider web. Essentially, we got a cool little effect going, and looks pretty good. It's a little subtle detail to everything, and it looks great. I can't tell if the recording seems kind of laggy, but the game's like not that laggy. You guys have to trust me. It's just, I don't know, I have to fix my recording settings. Anyway, that's one of the things. The next thing we added is a sort of reproduction system for the trees and nature and all that. So essentially, we have these. We have two types of trees right now, pretty much. Two types of replication. We have the grass and ferns. They just sort of replicate to like a nearby tile that they're able to grow on. So the grass can only grow on like the grass tiles. Ferns can grow on desert and grass tiles, so they could like replicate in a certain range for that. And same with cacti. Cacti, they could only replicate on desert tiles. So then over time, they will start populating the lands, which is pretty cool. So we have that. And then there's also a type of replication, which is with the trees. So the oak trees, they all drop like nuts. And the nuts, after some duration, will grow into a tree if they're still there. And if there's like not really an area around that's like blocking them. So if there's too many trees in one area, they won't like overlap and start building like a bunch of trees in that area. There's also coconuts. So the palm trees we could get into in a little bit here, they'll start dropping coconuts. And over time, those coconuts will grow into new coconut trees. And so over time in the game, you can see like the ecosystem develop here. Nature starts spreading and taking over the world. It's pretty cool. And so we added that. We added a way for the nature to reproduce and expand into the world. The next feature is also pretty cool. We'll get into a little bit. Is that we have like a little clock here on the top left. It's kind of like really scaled down, but essentially there's like a little day and night cycle, that happens over the course of the day. So each day is around, I think it's around 6 minutes. There's about 3 minutes, or like there's about like 2 minutes of daylight, or like 2:30 minutes of daylight, and then at night. And there's also like these certain phases in between. So we have, right now we're in bird song, which is like morning. Okay. But I got it from Root, which is like a board game, which is like pretty cool. So I was like, all right, let's make it bird song, which is the morning. And then we have evening, which are two other phases. And the phases of the day, they change the behavior of some animals, and it turns day or night. And so you could kind of notice here that in the game we have like a sort of Mexico filter. Everything's slightly yellow and like orange, but it sort of simulates that it is morning time right now. And if we play the game, it'll start changing colors, which is pretty cool. And like when it gets night, it starts getting dark. It's awesome. And surprisingly, I'm not using like a shader system, so it's actually pretty optimized. I thought I would have to set up some sort of shader system with like shadows and stuff, but no, it's like I'm using like a global volume thing and adjusting that over time pretty much. And later on, I could actually make stuff glow in the dark. and just add like bloom to it, and it'll actually work perfectly for everything. Oh my gosh, the recording doesn't seem that good. That's fine, don't worry about it. Okay, so day and night cycle, all that, yada yada yada. So let's go ahead and just play the game first, because let's start playing the game. And so right now you can notice that we have like a little wave system around the island. Also, we had like little I don't know what you call this, like ripples on the side of the island for them to it's sort of like gives a better effect that it is on an island, and that these tiles are land tiles. And I added this like system that creates like this effect of water that sort of just appears randomly throughout the ocean here. And so you can see some waves just sort of passing by. And yeah, it looks pretty cool, I think. So we got that. And let's see, what else we could get into. Oh yes, also, so there's some more nature stuff we got going on. We also added some creatures into the game. So we have some squirrels and we have some foxes here. So this update really is like a really big like ecology update, I guess. So we have created a few animals, and they all have different behaviors based on the time of day. Right now I have, so the foxes, they don't really, there's no combat yet. So let me lower my mic. So next update, probably we're going to add some sort of combat for them to like eat stuff, because foxes are sort of omnivores. Right now everyone just eats acorns. So if you can notice, let's see, this guy, okay, there's an acorn right there. This guy ate it and he gained hunger. If they run out of hunger, they die. If they also die from old age. Also, everything dies from old age. So over time, plants and creatures will like die off eventually. So also over here, you can see that some of the nature is sort of replicating and growing. So you can see that they start off with like a very, very small sprite right now, and they sort of grow over time into like a bigger version where they're like mature. Then they start replicating again. And now we are going into evening, so everything's starting to turn a little bit darker now. And then you can notice that some of the squirrels are heading back towards the forested region. So during the daylight, they'll start exploring and looking for acorns and mate. This guy just ate this acorn right here for food. And then during the evening, so around this time, they start heading back home. And so home right now is just the forest area, and they just sort of chill there. And then when it turns fully dark, they'll start sleeping in their home area. So some of these guys are falling asleep, and they gain their energy back and all that. I can see that the little squirrels are sleeping at night, which is pretty cool. So the foxes, I have them out nocturnal just to show that, this works for like nocturnal animals. And so during the night, they will start exploring, and they'll start like going out everywhere at night, and they'll sleep during the day. So they'll go back to the forest and they'll sleep during the daytime. So they're a little bit, they're basically the opposite of the rabbits. I mean, not the rabbits. What am I talking about? The squirrels. So that's pretty cool. And if I just speed the game up here, and let's see if we could get into, so they eat right now. So basically they just eat, they forage, they explore. They also reproduce. So each creature, I guess, has like a gender. So each has like a reproduction timer. So after like so long, they will find another mate. They'll go to them of the opposite gender, and then they will make a child. So we'll see if we could find any like anyone reproducing. And they'll only do it if they have enough hunger and they have energy. So the energy is like they have 80% energy or 80% hunger. So if there's like no food and they're like hungry, they won't do it. And so on. Okay, so anyway, so looks like we're getting like a couple very small squirrels. So this guy appeared out of nowhere. So he's part of the new generation of squirrels. And so the main limiting factor really of how many of these creatures are in the game is like, I guess, the food supply. So if there's like not enough food, then they'll stop growing and making more, which is pretty cool. And it simulates like over the course of the game, you could see the environment sort of develop naturally. So all of this grass is getting like grown here. They will also all die off eventually and get replaced with other stuff. And so right now it is kind of like hard for the trees to reproduce because the acorns get eaten by everything right now, but I think we're going to change it up. So the squirrels, I'm thinking like we make them store the acorns or something at like a place, and there's like a chance that helps them grow into trees. So it'll be beneficial for the squirrels to start getting acorns. So now I can see like the numbers are starting to grow here. We're starting to get a lot more squirrels popping up. And I thought there was like 2 over here, but yeah, there's like, I mean, there's like abundance of food and there's like no predators. So these guys are obviously flourishing in this environment over here. So let's go check another island. So we got over here, we got some stuff going on. We got a little bit, all these squirrels are huddled up over here in the forested region and are all falling asleep, which is pretty cool. And yeah, the foxes are out at night on the prowl. And if we take a look also, if we go back to this one palm tree island, so right over here, let's see, none of the acorns have grown to a new tree yet. So we'll take a mental note of, hey, we have all these palm trees over here. They will eventually begin growing more palm trees. And so that is essentially all the changes to the environment. Right now, like gameplay wise, the creatures don't really do anything. They just kind of look cool. They just sort of are in the environment right now. So that's great. Also, I added a terraforming buttons here for the player. Also the AI, if I turn this on, looks like someone just claimed this entire island. Someone's starting to claim this one. I'm kind of like AFK right now, so I'm not really playing the game. So they also can create new tiles. So they'll start creating stuff around land masses, like mainly just sand right now. I don't know if we could catch one of them in the act of building onto an island. I think they're starting to build on here, but they'll try to claim first before expanding the island. Maybe over here they're doing something. I don't know. The AI right now is just like claiming stuff. So let's go ahead and try making our own island here. Maybe like right off the coast of here. And let's start building our own island. Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to untoggle this and let's make an island like over here. Maybe we have some of these creatures start moving over towards it. So with building, like painting the world in this game, it's kind of like World Box, which is what this game is mainly. It's like fairly similar to, or the Sandbox, any like sandbox like building game. I guess you could say Minecraft, but essentially we have all these tiles here we could paint. This is like a claim tile, so first we actually want to start claiming tiles. So normally you would unlock this through traditions or something. You would unlock claiming tiles, so like you wouldn't be able to claim these ocean tiles unless you like unlock something. But in this case we just have like the functionality for everything, so we're going to go ahead and do that right now. So first you want to kind of claim the tiles. So right now it costs Terra, which is this resource over here. You see highlighting stuff and that there's like a cost to it. So if I hover over this, it costs 0 because I already own this. I own this green area right here already. But if I go ahead and just keep painting like this, I'm starting to claim some more tiles here in order to build maybe our own little continent. And all this costs Terra. And now you can see that I sort of went overboard. So I added this system where, like, if you keep painting and you don't have enough Terra to create that tile or claim that tile, whatever, it'll start queuing up actually, and it'll start over time. Once you get enough Terra, it'll start automatically claiming the tiles, because I sort of got into a situation where I was painting a lot and I had to like repaint it, but now you'll be able to like repaint the tiles and it'll turn out pretty good. So now that we have this and we're claiming out some land, I probably want to claim some more land out. Also, I can't claim this land, so the tile turns to like an X. So this means that like I cannot own these tiles right now. And also something you could see as well is that the domain size does affect the cost of it. So it sort of prevents people from spiraling out of control. I'm at 144 domain size right now. Now it's costing 14 to claim a tile, which is pretty expensive. We'll probably go up to like 200, I would say, and then we can we'll start making our own little island here. It'll be amazing. So let's get some more. Let's make like a big boxy thingy here. I think we just about have, there we go, we have 200. So let's wait for all these tiles to claim, and the more tiles we have, the more we're making in Terra, so our Terra production is going up, but it does get more expensive the more tiles we have. So now that we have claimed all our tiles, let's go ahead and start making like a little island out here, a little forest island out here. So let's go ahead and start making some forest. And oh, you could see that, oh, we can't build here. Why can't we build here? Because it's in the middle of the ocean. And so I want it to be like, in this game you have to build the island from like the ground up. So you can't just like place this down right away and it's all good, right? So in Worldbox you could do that. You could just kind of like place like land everywhere, but there's restrictions to where you could build your island pretty much. So pretty much what we have to do is actually build up the foundation of the island. So right now we can only place land tiles if it's surrounded by shallow water. Right now there's no shallow water here. We have some what is this called? This is like medium water, I guess. So we can't place anything here. So if we try to place the forest, we can't. It's all X'd out. We can place it over here though, because there are shallow areas around it. So let's go ahead and start making some area here. So let's start off by making some water. So I could start changing these tiles to water here. Also, I added this brush function here. So if I go ahead and click this, it increases the size of the brush to like this. And so we can start painting a good base for our island. And so I'm kind of going overboard here and painting all of this. And all these tiles are queued up. I just sort of have like this hourglass portion to it. So now we built a base of water. So now all of this will start getting created, and then we're going to want to make some shallow water, and we'll build some shallow water here, and then after the shallow water we could start building some forest or some beaches or whatever and start making our island. So right now we're kind of just sort of waiting on resources. So if I we'll just toggle this off for now. Let's go ahead and take a look at this island in the middle of nowhere. So this island, okay, so now you can see that some of the coconuts are turning into more trees, and we can see that the trees are starting to spread on this small little island through like the random items that are spawning. So we got a little palm tree here starting to grow up. And you can kind of see that the trees sort of sway a little bit in the wind. And let's see, let's take a look at this island. Nothing really has changed. Looks like they're eating a lot of the acorns here, and there's a lot of squirrels out and about. Yeah, and the foxes are sort of sleeping during the day, and everyone is happy. There's no conflicts going on, because there's like no conflicts. I also want to make it so like the squirrels and like all the creatures have like a sort of personality to them. So maybe some of them are like aggressive or like territorial. They'll try to like fight other squirrels, like their own kind, for like food if it gets desperate, or maybe they're altruistic. Maybe they like helping people. And I want it to be sort of like a primer video, which is like natural selection sort of happens over time, and maybe there's some stats that whenever two like creatures reproduce, they get like a stat that changes based on what they are. So maybe like view distance or something, like their sensing distance is like slightly higher, but if it's higher, then it's like at the expense of energy. So it's like you could have higher perception, and maybe like over time that starts getting better and all that. Maybe it's more advantageous to be faster, like at the cost of speed or energy production or all that. I'm going to add like a lot of that probably. I think that would make this really interesting, because it's sort of an ecosystem simulator also. All right, so let's go back to our little island that we're making. So right now we got all of this water here. So now we have to make the shore area to start building up the island. And so you can see that the shallow water, you can't place it in deep water because it's not really it's too low of a level. You have to sort of build it up. So let's go ahead and I'll increase the brush size a little bit. And we'll start making some shallow water here, and we'll just like place it around the edges here. And we're starting to get some tiles queued up here. And it is a lot more cheaper to do it on tiles you already own, because if you try to place it over here, it's sort of like you claim the tile also, and it's sort of like a little bit expensive. And let's go ahead and make some good old forest over here, and let's see if anyone will try to go here. So now we have some shallow water. Now we can start building up like an island. So now let's just go ahead and paint here a little bit, and I could see that our island is starting to form here. We have this nice little grassland island. Let's have this fox over here just sort of watching. And let's see if we could maybe make like a little bridge over the water. So let's start making some shallow water. Let's see if we could have some of them migrate over, or maybe even get like some plants to come over, because we can't really build plants right now. I haven't really added that feature, but soon we will add that. So now our little island is growing up, and now we're going to make some shallow water, maybe make the forest connected a little bit more, and continue onwards. So now we got our own little island here that we've set up, and we're building some more shore tiles over here. Also, so the next level of tiles is mountain or rocky tiles. So the rocky tiles are sort of like the mountain tiles, which could have certain things. But these can only be placed if they're surrounded by land tiles. Okay, maybe not. No, I just have them. Okay, I just consider them. I was going to have them sort of have to be surrounded by land tiles, but you know, I think it's fine. If people want to make like a rocky island or whatever, that's fine. It is what it is. But we could add some little rocky areas in the middle here, which would be kind of interesting. We add like little mountains. Maybe add a little beach here. Sort of surround the island. And okay, we have our first visitor to the island already. We have this little squirrel, and we have this little swim animation for it, and this guy's checking it out. And there's absolutely nothing on this island. There's no food, but it is, I mean, it's a forest area. And we have our first visitor on our island. Just kind of cool. And just make a little beach here, just make it a little bit cooler and whatnot. And let's see if we could try to get maybe some... Maybe we extend the forest if possible. I don't think that's gonna work. Oh, I don't even have build rights here. That's unfortunate. So this guy, this red player or whatever has taken over like the entirety of this island. But then I have this island down here, which is kind of interesting. Go ahead and just like claim everything in the middle here. All right, so that's pretty much it so far. We have made our own little island. We don't have the powers to like create nature, but that'll be in the next update. And we have pretty much like a cool little ecosystem going on with some basic animal AI and nature replicating. And you can see over the course of 6 days in game, this place is flourishing. More trees are growing. Lots of stuff is happening. Also, the game is running like fairly smooth, surprisingly. And yeah, we have the squirrels going back home. I also wanted to make like some squirrels will have like a dedicated home, maybe a dedicated mate or something. Like they'll follow, maybe they have like the children of creatures start following them for like the first part of their lives. There's a lot more stuff we're going to add to the AI to make it like even more lifelike. And then later down the line, we'll make sapient the ability to like bring some of these creatures into sapience, and that's when the game actually kind of starts. When they start building houses and like civilizations, but I don't want it to be like a normal civilization where it's like they have borders and stuff. I want them to sort of exist amongst themselves, sort of like Root, which is the board game where the factions sort of like exist. They almost coexist in the lands, and yeah, they sort of exist together. All right, so let's see. I think the squirrel population has sort of, over time here, expanded a lot. So you can see that there's less and less acorns to be eaten because all of them are sort of just eating them all. And over here, there's still some over here. There's also berry bushes over here, which I'll probably have the creatures like eat them, and then they sort of turn to a different sprite, and that'll also be a source of food. There'll be multiple sources of food you could add to creatures in the game. The foxes, I believe they're not carnivores. They're like omnivores, so they would be able to eat from the berries or whatever. But I want to add like wolves or something like that, where they sort of like hunt in packs. Oh, like a pack mentality, that would be cool. And then I think there's like a little small squirrel here I think I saw somewhere. Oh yes, look at this. Look at this guy. He's hiding behind a bush. And maybe like the animals like hide behind bushes to escape from predators or something. Oh, look at how small he is. He's so tiny. It's like the squirrel place. And lots of coconuts here. No one eats coconuts right now, so they're kind of like everywhere. Lots of acorns and coconuts over here. Some of these are falling outside the map, which is interesting. And looks like this area is kind of doing well with foxes. So I'll say it's kind of like if they're like all female foxes on like this island or something, then like they'll like die off because there's no like other gender. There needs to be like 2 genders. There are only 2 genders. This place seems pretty good. I don't think we've seen a baby fox yet. They're sort of like a little bit more rare, and I have them. Oh my goodness, what is going on in this? Okay, never mind. I stand corrected. This island is flourishing with foxes. They eat acorns right now, so it makes sense. They're sort of dominating. I don't know why. Oh my god, look, he's so cute. He's so cute. Look at the little fox. And yeah, that's basically it. We got this. We made our very first island, I guess. And we have a couple visitors, but it seems like they like going back here because they want some. That's where all the food is. I'm assuming this guy's like hungry or something. Because we're all like the mates and stuff are. Let's see, what is this guy doing? No, they're just sort of just chilling, I guess. Coexisting. And that's pretty much, I believe, everything to the update. I'm working on right now the like the sort of Civ aspect to the game, where there's like diplomacy and whatever. So like maybe you have build rights, so like, oh, I could build creatures and stuff on your claim tiles or something. Maybe you can negotiate for control over certain continents. And I'm still kind of thinking of how to set that up. I think I should have like the other leaders on the top, or the other spirits or whatever in the top right, like this. And so right now I have sort of like placeholders here for like each one, and they have like a expression there, like Civ, of how their relations are compared to you. And so we have 5 here, but there's like only like 3 guys in this game. And then in the spirit realm, where this is like, I guess there would be, I want to like show like maybe there's like this image here. It's like you're in the spirit realm, and then you can see like maybe there's like tables for everyone in here. It's like a council or something, in like, I don't know, like the spirit realm or whatever. And like you could click on one of them, and then it like zooms in, and like the side displays like the actions you could do and stuff. And they're like over here, and you like zoom out, and you could see everyone on the in the spirit realm here, and you could like go to each one of them and talk to them and do whatever. I think it'd be really cool. And then maybe like another tab here, which will allow all of you to vote on new world laws. Maybe you want to disable building or something like that, and stuff like that. But yeah, that is pretty much it for this update. A lot of ecosystem stuff, some terraforming. Let's see, is AI terraforming at all? I don't know if they are. They were at some point. Maybe the AI is bugged or something. I have to change it. But they were originally like building like around this stuff over here. It looks like they're just kind of claiming. I do have them claim first, but then start building. But the cost goes up like a lot over time. So it's sort of doesn't allow people to steamroll. And we can see like a little fox is checking out our island. Pretty cool. But yeah, I think that's it. Also, if you guys made it to the end of this video, me just like talking over the game, and you want to see more, I do post stuff on my Discord channel. So if you join the Discord, the link will be in the description below. I sometimes will post in the Spirits of Plystia chat some stuff that are like too short to be on like a YouTube video or on X. I also do a lot of posts on X, so follow me on X if you want to see some more stuff. And if you have any like suggestions or anything, highly recommend to join the Discord and just like post your ideas in the channel that I have there, because that's kind of the main way I see everything. I do read comments, but it is kind of rare. I don't really check YouTube that often. But yeah, thanks for tuning in, guys. So far, support has been quite nice with the previous devlog. I think like last time I checked, it was like 20 likes. I was like, oh my god, that's so cool. You know, it's like awesome that, you know, people are kind of interested in this game I'm making. But yeah, that's gonna be it. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in probably like another month where we add like a lot more stuff. I don't know, it might not be that much, but the game is starting to develop, and that's what matters. But anyway, till next time.